Alright guys, Redless here. This is Troublesome Rhetoric. We're going to be talking about some Yomi, the strategy fighting card game from Sirlin Games. With me today I have Bomber678.
What's up, dudes?
And I have Raziak.
Howdy.
And then finally Southpaw Hare.
Hello.
And this is Troublesome Rhetoric. Alright, so first we're going to do a little intro. We're going to talk about each of the panelists, how you got into Yomi, your playstyle, your basic valuations, etc. So I'll start off. I'm Redless. I got into Yomi because I played Pokemon, and then I was introduced to Yomi by a fellow Pokemon player who goes by Untillerman. So that's how I got into Yomi. I've played some fighting games in the past, just Smash Bros. Though, so that's what I mean when I say fighting games.
Yeah, Smash Bros.
Ooh, tenuous, that one.
So I feel like I play a fairly basic game. Mainly I play Lum these days. Block a lot, and ideally adapt to opponents, or just block. I mean, they're both legitimate tactics, I think. So yeah, try and make yours a bit longer. I'm a pretty boring person, so mine's not going to be as long. All right, Bomber.
All right, yeah. Hi, I'm from Australia. That's what everybody needs to know. That's why I have a sexy accent. I was introduced to Yomi from Link6616, which probably most of you have sort of seen on the forums, maybe, maybe not. He's a very, very old fan of Sirlin. He used to read Sirlin's game design articles way back, like, when I was in primary school. And I met Link a couple years ago. In fact, this last weekend was the 2-year anniversary of us meeting, even though he's in Japan now. And so he showed me Puzzle Strike, and then he also had Yomi, and I was like, hey, Yomi's really cool. I ended up on the website actually to play Puzzle Strike, but then I played Yomi as well. I play mostly Zane and Troc and DeGray because I really like their playstyles, and I really they clicked with me. I played DeGray in V1. And they also just happened to turn out to be strong characters, which I'm not a tier whore, I swear. In Marvel, I play Phoenix Wright. So,
Hey, me too.
Hey! Yeah,
I think we discussed that before, actually.
I think we have. We might talk about that later. In Marvel, yeah, I play Marvel, I play Street Fighter. I sort of play Smash, but yet it's been like 6 months and I still haven't played the new Smash. I'm a little behind the ball on that one. I have my own fight stick, and I recently lost to my friend in the tournament 2 weekends ago, in Marvel. But I won JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which I'd never played before, so that was fun. My playstyle in Yomi, because I realized I could move this along, is I'm not very read heavy, but sometimes I do get good reads. That's, yeah, my Yomi play is not very interesting. Move along.
Alrighty, moving right along, we have our alphabetically next commentator, Raziak.
Yep. Okay. So, hi guys, I'm Raziak. Most of you probably at least know of me at this point if you follow competitive Yomi at all. I started playing Yomi about 3.5 years ago, I want to say. Back during, briefly during version 1 beta, but I didn't get really into it until version 1 was actually launched proper on the website. I can't recall exactly how I came across it. I think I was probably introduced to it by either Riker or Jushichi, as both of them, of course, are... The three of us make up DRB, which is our little group. But I started playing back in version 1, and during version 1 I was a Valerie main. She, of course, was considered lower mid-tier, mainly because she got turbo dunked on by Grave. And I'm pretty sure I'm the only Valerie to win a tournament in version 1, like a major one, when I won the Mornament. I was, of course, active during the development of version 2. I helped contribute to Zane's development. The Creator and Destroyer change, which got a hit to show your hand when you recreated theirs, was my idea, among other things. But, yeah, I pretty much dropped Valerie cold turkey for Zane because I found his playstyle pretty much the same thing I wanted to do, except better. Because what I really liked about playing Valerie in version 1 was I'm a very aggressive player. So I played kind of an attack-throw Valerie in version 1, which doesn't work quite as well in version 2 because it's a lot easier for most characters to defend their blocks with normal draw, where that was not quite as effective in version 1. And not having the old chromatic, of course, is a bit of a problem. But that led to my switch to Zane. And I was just kind of going along in version 2 here until the summer when I started winning everything, basically. I try not to toot my own horn too much on that, but I mean,
pretty much true.
Yeah, it's like, okay, Summer Smash came along, and that was basically where it all started. The 64-man tournament in the middle of the summer.
That was a great tournament.
That's
where I met
fantastic
Redless.
tournament. I think that tournament really revitalized the community.
Yeah, I picked up
That was a huge
Manelka
turning point.
Yeah.
and met Southpaw here and met Redless and yeah, it was a good tournament.
It's Grand Magic Games,
Anyway,
actually.
that tournament was
sure?
run by Jenga Jam, and he put a ton of work into that on the forums.
No, wait, was... Oh, no, sorry, you go on.
Yeah, it definitely was Jenga Jam. I know for sure.
It was.
But he put a ton of work into making the actual graphic images for each portion of the bracket with every player's chosen character. I believe Summer Smash was just straight up video games, wasn't it? I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every player chose a video game character to represent them.
Yeah.
He found more images of my character than I thought existed.
Yeah,
He's good.
I had chosen Joshua from Fire Emblem Sacred Stones, and I ended up winning the whole thing, of course, though Mad King did reset me in Grand Finals 4-0, before I then 4-2'd him back, I believe it was.
Yep.
Nice.
That's accurate.
Yeah, I had a nice little wash my face in between sets and then stopped running into things. Yeah, won that, and then CKR kicked off International Yomi League 1, which I did not have a crazy amazing start in. I think I came in at like 3rd or 4th seed going into playoffs, but I ended up winning the whole thing there.
Which sadly I didn't get to watch because I went away. I was super devastated.
Yeah, it was in the middle of the day. It was hype.
I ended up going on camp and I wanted to watch the grand finals really badly, and it was like,
Yeah, I unfortunately, I think I was self-recording at the time. I'm pretty sure I have that on my YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Oh, really? Okay.
Raziek was self-recording. I also recorded it. And
Yeah, I believe I
so you
started
can access
self-recording with when I played Malthug in the conference finals.
You sure you didn't record the Jushichi matchup?
I had them saved on. No, actually, you're right. I did record Ju. I have that one too.
Kind of terrifying how much I know about you.
Yeah,
are you stalking him?
but yeah. So I won Yomi League 1, and then Yomi League 2 has started, and of course is basically concluding the season play. And like I so boldly predicted, I went undefeated for the season, and am 10-0 going into playoffs. Though Leontes and LK certainly made me pucker my butt a little bit. God, Leontes is terrifying. He is one of the more scary players I've ever played.
Southpaw certainly knows that one.
Yeah.
Well, Southpaw didn't play Leontes. Southpaw played Dark Leontes. Like, the Man of Honor was not there. That was his evil twin. But
Yeah, that happened.
either way,
Oh, no.
that's the brief history. Basically, I've been winning everything with Zane since the middle of the summer. And Zane's a great character because he gets to be super aggressive. You get 1 billion damage off any attack or throw in. You have 1 billion damage on Maximum Anarchy. And basically, really, the only thing he can't handle in the game is Troc, and even then you can fraud out and win with Maximum Oops. Like, just Gold Burst at their knockdown, and then hope you hit Anarchy, and then if you did, you probably won. But I do think he has a number of difficult matchups that people don't play. But we will get into that a little later. I will allow Southpaw to continue his introduction.
Okay. So it's kind of funny that Smash Bros was brought up earlier. So I attribute a lot of my my history and my backstory, so to speak, to Smash Bros. I think that Smash Bros has been like a really influential thing in my life. So basically, I play a lot of fighting games, but I didn't used to. I used to be one of those guys that just doesn't like fighting games at all. Except for Smash Bros. Smash Bros was the only one I liked because, as I saw it, as I perceived it to be, it was supposed to be a game that was very low on the execution level. It was supposed to be... Yeah, no, I see, you know where I'm going with this.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be a game where it's like, oh, the controls are really simple, unlike all those other games. You know, it's all strategy and mind games. So, of course, I quickly came to learn that, of course, Melee, for example, is the exact opposite of that.
Melee is probably one of the most technical games you can find.
Yeah.
Z canceling,
yeah.
and wave dashing, and shining.
Yeah, one of the most, crazy executional heavy games ever made of any genre. So, I kind of had this perception of what I thought Smash Brothers was and what I wanted it to be, but it just wasn't. And so I've for a long time I've been sort of searching for that game that is what I thought Smash Brothers was. And so I got into a lot of other fighting games gradually. Now I play Street Fighter, I play Marvel, and it also sort of helped me get more heavily into game development. So when I went to college, I went to a lot of there's sort of a big game development community here, and I tried working on...
New York is what you mean by here, yes?
Yes, the upstate New York, in the Albany area. And I worked on a bunch of different types of games, but in some cases I tried to emulate Smash Bros. A bit and sort of be like, this is what I kind of thought Smash Bros. Was supposed to be. And then eventually I came upon Yomi, and to me, when I saw Yomi, it very clearly was like more Smash Bros. Than Smash Bros. Actually is in my viewpoint. So that's kind of what really sold it on me, and I still, it's held. I continue to enjoy Yomi sort of as that replacement to Smash Bros. As for my play style, I just sort of Geiger's my favorite character, and I kind of made a thread on this at one point, where it was basically like I picked Geiger just because it looked like he was not played by that many people at the time. And I sort of admitted, it's like, yeah, I want to have that special snowflake feeling where it's like, yeah, I have a character that's almost kind of sort of unique, even though, other people can play him. They really don't. So I get to feel like I'm the sole only Geiger. And then, that lasted for a little while, and then some more people started playing Geiger more regularly. So I started looking to other characters, and I also play some Zane and some Troc, which are very popular characters also, but they're really fun and they're really good. They get the job done, definitely. And I probably play a pretty valuation heavy game. I definitely, most of the time I just go for whatever is good in my hand. Whatever, if I got a fast throw, play the fast throw. If I got a fast normal, play the fast normal. If I have maximum anarchy, that's a little trickier, but that's eventually going to be used at some point.
Yeah.
So that's about it, I guess.
So just before we continue there, I realized that I got so wrapped up in the whole Yomi description of my intro that I totally forgot about the other background stuff. So I'm just going to touch on that briefly before we move on. I'm primarily a Smash player, first and foremost. I started playing Super Smash Bros. Brawl was my first competitive tournament game that I was like, I really want to be good at this and go to tournaments and all that. And it's kind of how I discovered the tournament scene, and that was back in March 2009. And I played Marth in that game. He was a high tier that had a lot of options available to him. I really enjoyed playing him. I of course, I do not play Melee because I am not exceptionally technically skilled. So when I do play it, I tend to play characters that don't require as much heavy execution, and just make up for it in that way. You will never see me playing Fox or something like that. But
do you have anything to add to what I was saying about Smash Bros? Like how it might, how it compares to Yomi?
I think you do definitely have some correct parallels in that Smash is on the surface level one of the much more technically friendly games, especially the newer iterations, because somewhat unlike the other fighters like Street Fighter and Marvel, etc., etc., due to the simplicity of the inputs, basically anybody can pick up Smash and feel like they know what they're doing.
Yeah, but especially in Melee, that's pretty quickly shown to be a lie. It's
yeah.
just,
Oh well. Yeah.
sort of
I mean that's why I said
yourself.
on the surface, because the Smash games are, of course, past the surface are incredibly difficult. Melee mainly being the technical one. Brawl and Smash 4 do require technical skill, to be sure, but not on quite the manual precision level that Melee requires.
It's really specific to characters too, like
Yeah.
Rosalina being like one of the most technical ones in the new game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I have taken personally very strongly to Smash 4, because though Marth did not survive the transition well from Brawl to Smash 4, I took very strongly to another Fire Emblem character, which was the newcomer Robin. Because it's like, okay, this isn't quite like Marth. I'm certainly not very fast, but I have a lightning buzzsaw sword and I can throw fire. This is cool.
Are
And
you really feeling it?
Yeah.
I wanted to really feel it because Shulk's Nair is a work of art, but I just can't play that character.
I'm really feeling it.
But yeah, I absolutely love Robin in Smash 4, and I'm considered one of the top 5 Robin players in the world currently.
Wow.
Well, that's hype.
Yeah. Now, but to downplay my own accomplishments a little bit, Robin is not an extremely popular character. There are like there are like 2 or 3 really well-known players who are using Robin, and that is like Nairo, who is a former Apex champion. Apex being the Smash Evo, basically. Before Smash got into Evo, I suppose.
So you're in top 5 out of a group that doesn't even really have 5 people.
Well, I mean, yes, but I'm better than most. But most of what I've done has been like on the technical front. Like I moderate the Robin boards on Smash World forums and have put lots of work into guides and training other players and all that kind of thing. But yeah, what I did want to talk about, something else that you brought up, was how my experience with fighting games has translated to Yomi. And that kind of has to do with essentially the origins of what DRB is. And like I said earlier, DRB is comprised of myself, Jushichi, and Riker. And the three of us met through Smash on Smashboards, and play lots of different fighters.
And
I have
Mafia.
a question.
Yeah.
What does it stand for?
I was going to get to that, because that's the magic question that we all knew had to come up on the podcast as soon as I said it.
I had no idea that it wasn't well known. I thought maybe I was just missing out.
No, it's
I know,
not.
Set that one.
It's not particularly well known. We tell those who ask, but it's not advertised. DRB stands for Disrespect Boners. And that was essentially born out of the fact that, especially early in our careers, the three of us basically considered ourselves these boners that would just do things that were obnoxious and like play style wise disrespectful. Like, oh, there's no way he's going to throw me 5 turns in a row. There's no way Riker's going to play Cycloid, power up for aces, play Cycloid again, power up for aces, play Cycloid again, Gold Burst, you know, etc.,
Makes sense why you
etc.
guys like the characters you do.
Yeah. And that, like, we played goofy, basically. And as we've developed, we've, of course, gone in different directions. I play less goofy now than I did then. But we're all very reads-based players, the three of us. Like, we will very frequently play things that are just not the valuation option. Like, be like 10 times out of 10 you do X. Be like, I'm actually gonna object to that and say 1 time out of 11 I'm going to do Y.
I've kind of seen that by watching some of your videos, because especially in the ones where you just destroy me, it was really funny to watch you sort of like pick up the really obvious valuation card, drag it onto the screen but not quite release it, drag it back on the screen, think about it, drag it back, then play something wild and win with it.
Yeah. Well, that's...
1 time out of 11.
It's kind of funny you point that out, because that's so often what I go through whenever I play, is I have these periods of time where I'm literally just running on intuition. Like, I'll pull the card all the way onto the screen, and right before I release it, I'll go, does this feel right? And if it doesn't feel right, I pull it back, and I might try it again 2 or 3 times. And then, if I haven't fully decided by that point, like, on the option I'm leaning towards, then I'll go with what my initial read was, which is quite often the crazy thing.
So you actually get, like, feelings from how you drag it around the screen. Like,
Yes! Oh, legitimately. And I have times where I know a certain card is coming. And there have been discussions on this about this on the forums, like people who claim they have ESP and all this business with confirmation bias. I don't give a damn about that. Basically, there are times where more often than not I can say, like, okay, now you're going to play X, and then they play X. Like, I had this happen in friendlies with Riker last night, actually. When we were just goofing off playing some Valerie versus Troc, and I had just powered up for a bunch of aces, because I landed a normal combo. And he put his combat card on the table, and I went, that's a nice Q you've got there, and then Q'd his Q. And was correct. And, like, that happens a lot for me, like, just based on feel. Also, I think we briefly lost Bomber.
Yeah, I think something's wrong with the call.
Yeah.
He'll be back.
Yeah. But you can definitely see that when I'm watching my videos. Like, so much of what I do is just based on getting the opponent's habits and tendencies. The other side of my playstyle is hand exploitation. Which is why I hate Setsuki so much.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But, I consider that one of my greatest strengths. Is I am able to identify when someone is in a hand that they don't like, and how to exploit that, which is very, very devastating for a character like Zane, because of his efficient and aggressive throw game, and billion damage off of counter hits.
Pardon.
He allows me to do that very effectively with relatively minimal blocking. I mean, obviously some matchups you block more than others. But for the most part, Zane can play extremely aggressive and get away with that, which is why I like him so much. Because I want to go aggro, I have the reads, I know how to ruin your hand if I catch you in a bad spot. So Zane is a character that works for me. But
Hard to argue with the results that you've had, as you were saying.
yeah. But anyway, that covers the other stuff I wanted to talk about my Smash background and how that all links in. So we kind of had a bit of a roundabout intro, all things said.
So I think we're going to move on now to new player advice. So some people may not play Yomi, and they may want to play Yomi a lot better than they do because they don't play Yomi. So what advice do you fellas have for new players who are just starting out?
So before you get into
this?
general tips and everything like that, the first thing I want to say is absolutely go to the forums. The forums should be your biggest resource for everything. The basic guides and everything are relatively detailed and informative. You have access to basically the entire community player base, who are very friendly and accommodating and willing to teach.
Yes, we are. Except for the ones who aren't.
They're few and far between.
We have a very good immune system for jerks. We sort of very good at removing them.
It's hard for them to stick around in such a tight knit community because we have maybe 50 active players tops.
Yep.
So it's a community where you know everybody basically.
Yeah.
But the forums have so much information available to you. Mad King just recently put out a guide on managing your hand, understanding
for
when
very new players.
Yeah, that's a very beginner-oriented one. There are, of course,
it's good, though.
tons of other guides. I've written my absurdly long and wordy Zane guide that is not beginner-friendly at all. But it's there if you want to know how to play that character.
Maybe I should read that guide.
Pretty good guide. 10 out of 10, I recommend it. Sorry, 9.5 out of 10 needs to finish matchup guide. Getting there. I'm at 4 out of 20.
So one of the things that I found, so I've taught a bunch of players at my my local clubs physically, the physical copy, and one of the things that I found is, even though it's supposed to be kind of intuitive, that all the cards have a sort of pattern to them based on their rank and stuff. That's not something that people pick up immediately. But what I recommend is just, if you're a new player, take a deck and just lay out one of every rank in order and look at it, and just look at it on the table and glance over it and see the patterns. Because like if you don't understand how the basic deck is set up, like nothing makes sense. But as soon as you understand that pattern and you're like, oh, I see. So like, 2 is 2 something speed and 5 is 5 something speed. And, all of these normals, for Grave, the base character, are in sequence. And you're like, suddenly you understand a lot of the valuation basics just by getting a good look at it in the proper order, basically.
It also
the relative speeds of moves is another useful thing that you see. Mm-hmm. Like 6.6, for example, is not very fast. So if you play a 6.6 speed move, you're basically calling out a throw if it's an attack. So that's the other useful thing you learn from that.
And I think especially important when you're looking at the decks like that as well is just looking at where each of your options are and understanding what type of character you're playing. Because obviously with the grappler characters like Rook and Trock, their throws are generally on the low ranks of cards, where the normal characters have them on 7 through 10, generally speaking.
Yep.
Just based on what speed that makes them, because the grappler's throws are on their low-numbered cards, they're extremely fast.
Yeah.
And then you start to also notice these interesting details. So like with Geiger's deck is extremely similar to Graves' deck. Grave being again the all-arounder character that everyone else is based off of. But Geiger has this little tiny difference that makes a world of difference when you think about it, which is he's got a break in his normal attacks on his 4. So instead of having attacks on 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, he has 2, 3, no attack on 4, and then 5, 6, 7. And that is the single difference between his attacks with Grave, and it really changes his normal attack game completely.
Yeah, because he gets straights off the 5 because of the 7, but he can't get straights off of any even
2 and
mix-up.
3 poke become very strange.
He has exactly one straight, and that's it, and it's very unversatile.
I one
He's-
day
needs to
dream
be
of a
more
world
versatile.
where Zane has a straight.
Never. Did you hear what Eric F said? That apparently Zane used to have an actual clause on his innate ability that disallowed him from gaining aces from straight combos.
Yep.
Yeah,
Then
I
they
think
just
that
decided
was-
to rearrange it so
Yeah.
that he didn't have a straight.
Yeah.
That was back when he had, what was it? I think it was an attack on 5, or something like that.
Yeah, he
Oh,
used
boy.
to have that.
And
So
then-
so now there are 3 characters that can't form straights. The other ones being Olimaru and BBB.
yeah, Onimaru can't, BBB can't, Zane can't.
I think that's it.
Probably.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, that is it.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, understand your deck, know your character's speeds, and that will go a long way towards helping you get comfortable with the character you're playing. Because although it is just a deck of cards, it's still a character. Every character is unique and distinct in their own way.
I think when it comes to the speeds, probably the most important area to understand is that area right around the 2.4 fireball, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that's where the most action happens, I guess you could call it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, from 1 to about 3.
Yeah, so the basic
Stuff
character
happens.
Grave has a 2.4 speed special attack and a 2.6 speed normal attack, and
And
then
a 2.2 speed special.
and a 2.2 speed special. Yeah, so he has 2.2, 2.4, and 2.6, and everyone else has all these different variations of those numbers, and then occasionally 2.0, occasionally 2.8, stuff like that.
7.0,
Yeah, same thing.
Shout out to Pile Bunker.
7.2, please. Quince in the building.
Poor Quinn.
Is Quince's pile bunker is 7.2?
Yes,
Yep.
it is.
Yeah.
Which leads to
I just see it.
hilarious things where Quince reveals Q and then you pile bunker him.
Yeah, get
As
hit by the
happened
page.
before.
It's a mighty
yeah,
mix-up.
because of the page rear.
But it's not infallible.
Yeah. So other
So-
general tips. Anybody have anything to offer?
So, yeah, I was gonna say. So I think the better way to approach if you're just a new player. So first of all, don't make that many reads. Okay, if you're a new player, it's more important that you do the stuff that's not reading. If you think you're gonna win a tournament by reading, I guess read, but probably not. You're probably not gonna do that because you're a new player. So I don't know. That's your approach to reading. Also, the other approach that I advocate for is I think it's more important to look at when you're looking at your hand, rather than saying what options should I do, ask what options shouldn't I do. So consider all your options as potential candidates for combat card, just
good.
before
I
the
like-
combat reveal.
So I think another thing that I've mentioned before to people is that I like to think of Yomi first and foremost not as a combat simulator game, but more as a resource management game. because I think a lot of new players sort of think that it's just about make the right combat guesses and stuff, but you learn that you quickly run out of steam. Like there's almost no way you can win a game just off of your opening hand of cards and the one card you're drawing per turn. You're probably going to run out of something quickly. So it's
Block more.
What's that?
Block more is the lesson.
Yeah.
Block a lot.
Yeah, that's probably the most basic of basic beginner tips is blocking. Block more, probably more than you think you should.
Just a ton.
Yeah, and just manage your cards not as like fighting moves, but as like resources. Like how much do I have of each thing, and what are their values and such.
How can I convert this to damage, etc., etc.
Yeah, so it's important to view Yomi as like you have two resources, cards and like damage, life bar. I think MK does this, says a lot about this in the guide.
He does, yeah.
But your goal is to deplete your opponent's life bar. So you want cards, so you're able to do that, and then you want to convert the cards into damage because that's the other half.
Yeah, and sometimes you expend your own life bar to take more life bar from your opponent.
Right. Yeah. So try and keep sort of an open mind to different options. So pretty soon you'll start just discarding options very quickly. Like I'm not going to use this. Like a 4 attack. Who does that? You'll start sort of thinking more in terms of what you don't want to do.
Yeah.
But always keep an open mind. Like if you have a queen, maybe you should queen. Like queens are typically reversals for the new player. But sometimes maybe you should king because maybe the king will get you a larger combo. And maybe that's useful. If your opponent's not contesting the speed hole between queen and king, there's no reason you shouldn't just play king there.
Also, things like, in talking about what not to do, being able to identify simple things like, I don't have a big payoff if I dodge an attack, so I should block here instead. Or just understanding how you can best convert your options.
Is this conversation about what not to do going to segue into the gold burst conversation?
Oh boy,
I like gold burst.
I do too,
gold burst
actually.
much. I don't gold burst much.
I'm a fan in some matchups.
So I think the general consensus is that gold burst is either isn't that great or it's at least a very risky thing. But then, of course, maybe that's exactly why you want to use it.
I don't know. I said recently on stream my mentality to approaching jokers. It was at first like, I'm going to save these for blue burst to prevent damage. And then people started like I would never bluff because why would I give up a card for no reason? Like that doesn't...
Yep.
Well, technically you're supposed to bluff and it's a good move. But I never bought into that. So I never would bluff very much. And people just started just respecting my face downs too much. So I started gold bursting, and then not only was I not wasting cards by bluffing, I was also getting aces randomly, and that was good. Though I will say this: don't gold burst in the early game; that's a terrible play. Gold burst in the later game, and things like that.
So you're not a fan of first turn YOLO gold burst?
That used to happen entirely too much in DRB casuals. We had what we would refer to as the DRB turn 1, which was gold burst clash.
I have had that before with Link.
I've seen that twice before. It's pretty rare, though.
It's pretty uncommon.
We used to do that a lot more back in the old days, but we're less shenaniganry about it now. But
so I guess the how to use your Joker comes down to that same thing we were just talking about using your life as resources. So it's like it can either save you some life resources, or you can convert it to damage and taking life resources away from your opponent. So it's just how do you weigh, which is more valuable, basically.
Gold Burst. Okay, here's how I look at Gold Burst. Gold Burst has two primary functions, and two primary advantages over Blue Burst. The first is that it gets you more damage than Blue Bursting will. Basically all of the time, because it's incredibly unlikely that the two cards that you draw from your Blue Burst are going to be better than the two aces you get.
I have drawn aces off blue bursts before.
I have
Just
as well.
2 aces.
I had a blue burst that was a gold burst because it drew me 2 aces.
Technically
stealth
possible, but
But anyway, the other thing is that a blue burst saves you from a combat you already lost. And sometimes it doesn't even save you. Hello, Geiger.
Hey.
A gold burst can save you from a combat that you have yet to lose, and that comes into play in so many situations. It varies by matchup, of course, but one of the quintessential ones that just came up recently that I'll use as an example was in Riker's Geiger versus Gister's Rook the other night. And Geiger gets Temporal Distortion up. He's got a bunch of aces and jacks. You know he can kill you if he guesses correctly, and the guess is between attack and throw. So, an answer
What
that
do you
beats
know?
both attack and throw happens to be Gold Burst.
yep.
And
Rook
that will
gold
get
bursting,
you out
no,
of those prickly situations sometimes, because a lot of the time when people just want to hurt you, they're not going to block or dodge, unless on the other side of their dodge is Maximum Anarchy or Deathstrike Dragon.
Oh.
Yeah, mean moves.
Or T-Pos.
But that's the big advantage of gold bursts, in addition to the aces they get you, is they can get you out of a pinch. Because, yeah, it's fine to blue burst after you get hit, but against some characters that's not very good. I personally, I think people don't gold burst enough against Zane, actually. Because, yes, you can gold burst 27 damage from the, or no, I guess it'd be 25, from the Q9J ending part of your combo. Or you could get up, take away one of his meaties, get 2 aces, and get out of the situation.
But of course he doesn't use up the 9, the queen, and the jack.
Well, of course not, but
Yeah.
you're also not knocked down again. That's the other thing about blue bursting, is it doesn't get you out of people who have knockdown enders like Zane. Because, yes, you avoided the damage, but you're still in the situation, most likely.
I don't know. Being knocked down isn't terrible bad versus most characters.
Well, that's why I specifically picked Zane as an example.
Yeah, I mean, I think using Zeta's example here was very intentional.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, against certain characters, I am a huge advocate of Gold Burst. Like, I think Gold Burst is godlike against Rook.
Yeah, it's so safe. So
Because-
safe.
He's got 100 billion health. He cannot dodge, and
Might be a couple
and
of
Joker
zeros add-
Joker does not trigger Entangling
I think
Vines or
the
Stonewall. So
yeah, I love that.
literally,
The greatest thing. It feels so good when you it doesn't feel amazing like winning, but if you use a Joker and it gets stonewalled, you're like, whatever.
yeah, like
You win for
No,
no
I'll
damage.
take that 0 damage. Oof, oof.
the worst thing that can possibly happen to you when you Gold Burst against Rook is he draws a card. That's it.
Oh no!
Versus Geiger is another character I really like to gold burst versus.
I agree with that,
Yeah, that's-
because
Yeah.
unless the Geiger is playing a Cycloid-centric game plan, you're not getting out of that temporal oops. So, might as well get aces and try to kill him before you get to that point.
Yep.
And on the other side of the coin, there are characters that I say absolutely hold on to those things for dear life. Characters that come to mind on that are Gwen, Valerie, Jaina, Setsuki, basically anyone who can deal 30 or more damage from an attack starter.
Yeah. Persephone,
Okay.
Quince, and Onamaru also come into
Yes,
mind as
yes.
people with good dodges.
Yes, for other reasons. Persephone because of Mistress's Command. Onimaru because he does 1 billion damage off any random conversion.
So here's a specific, rather specific question. How would you suggest you use Jokers against Manelker?
I was
Who
about to
can,
get to that, because that's the
yeah,
hardest
something
one in
about
the
that
game.
also.
Go
That
right
is the
ahead.
hardest question in the game, is how
As a
do you
Manelker
use your
player-
Jokers against Manelker? Because
As a Minoka player, I think I'm a little qualified to answer this question.
Yeah, same.
here's my opinion as a non-Manelker player.
Okay, we'll hear yours.
The way I look at it, whether or not you hold on to your jokers against Manelker comes down to one of two things. A couple little checklist, basically. Number one, how likely is Manelker to have Into Oblivion? Because
Pretty likely.
Yes, but if he's used it on something else, like say Geiger's Aces or Gloria's Aces or blah blah blah, then you're slightly more likely to be able to actually get the second one. But the other big decision of can I hold on to this or not is can you play a range that involves throws and not lose for it? Because Manelker's main method of dealing with your jokers is to land Bonecracker. Gets it out of your hand, you don't get your aces for gold bursting, you don't get to avoid damage, you just lose it. So if you're a character who's able to play a throw-heavy range such that he can't safely get the Bonecracker, then I think it's a lot more reasonable to hold them. Characters that come to mind, Zane, once again. And basically any of the grapplers.
But is Midori a grappler?
Is Midori a grappler? That is the age-old question.
We'll tackle that question later.
Who's Midori?
But for those characters who can do that, I think it's perfectly reasonable to play an anti-Bonecracker range and then just blue burst if you get hit by a Black K or something.
Or dodge into DST sort of breaks that mix up.
Yeah.
As well.
I think it's pretty rough for those characters that can't, though, because it's a
Oh,
situation
absolutely.
I run into a lot playing as Geiger against Manelker, which is that matchup that I really hate.
Hi.
Even matchup, right? That even?
It's when I get a Joker in my opening hand, which is usually really good, and I'm like, oh god, this is going to get Bonecrackered, isn't it? And
Yeah.
I have to ask myself, do I want to first turn Gold Burst when I really know that I shouldn't? And then I decide not to when I block, and it gets Bonecrackered, and I lose anyway.
As a Minoka, I cry every time I run a Bonecracker into a gold burst.
I don't think that's ever happened to me. As long as I've been playing Manelker. I think that's happened to me a total of 0 times.
It doesn't happen very often at all because people are very, very hesitant to gold burst against Minoka because they're like, oh, but I'm gonna need my Joker for distract Dragon. But actually, when people gold burst against me as Minoka, that's when I'm actually more scared of their Joker because they're just playing it, and I can't Oblivion that because they've just played it. I mean, I can Oblivion the second Joker and then play King combos for 44 damage without a care in the world, but by that point, I might have already been Cyclone Revolutioned for half of my life.
Yeah.
I only have 70 life.
Yeah. I'll say this. The people who are most successful versus me when I played Manelker were very aggressive.
Hi.
I don't think you can kill Manelker with the starting hand.
Unless you're saying...
Okay, yeah.
Unless you're Radix T1 and do 80 damage on the first turn.
Okay, so in many cases...
Wait, what?
You can't...
I haven't heard this story.
So in many cases, as I was saying, you can't kill Manelker with your starting hand, and if you gold burst once, you basically never have to block if you're a character with decent dodges, which DeGray is. This is particularly what I'm thinking of. I lost in IYL 1 as a result of Merciful Fate taking advantage of my unpreparedness for gold burst.
Yeah, he is rather randy with his gold bursts, I must say.
Yeah,
he's a bit of a randy guy, but he's alright.
Yeah.
Shoutouts to Merciful Fate.
Yep.
All
I'm
right,
sure he'll listen to this podcast while he's out fishing some weekend.
You mean fishing for reeds?
Okay, I like Merciful Fate. So I have other stuff to add to the new player conversation, which maybe the rest of you do as well. So before we move on, I'd like to say, don't learn as much as you would in other games. Like, if you power up for aces, and then your opponent immediately dodges, okay. But you can't assume every opponent's going to do that. Like, that's not, like, a common thing, necessarily. Some will attack, some will do other things, some will throw you.
I was going to say, some will long hair, don't care, and throw you.
Yeah, some... So you can't overlearn, I guess. Yeah. So if you can't extrapolate super hard from one player to another, or even from one player at one time to the same player at another time. You can't extrapolate.
I wouldn't quite call it not learning. I would just say, take.
So, obviously, Yomi's balance is very tight. All the characters are roughly balanced versus one another. Like, there's no one who just leaps to the forefront as that's the best character, and no one who's completely useless, probably.
Hopefully.
And so, in spite of this, like, obviously some characters are generally held to be better than others.
Yeah.
So that's, like, generally the opinion of people.
All characters are created equal, but some characters more equal than others.
Thank you, George Orwell.
I approve of that reference. So yeah, let's talk about our valuations, 'cause it's pretty up in the air for which characters are more equal than others. Yeah.
So I think the best place to start on this is rather than talk about the large amorphous blob of characters that are in the middle of the tier list, it will be significantly more productive for us to talk about who are the best and who are the worst.
I agree.
Yeah.
So I'm going to put this out here and say that I think there are 4 characters that nobody in this call, and probably nobody at all, will contest as not being top 5.
Okay.
Okay. Maybe.
Those
We'll
are
see.
Sure.
Manelker,
Trock,
DeGray, and Zane.
Zane.
I think those 4 characters should be in every single person's top 5.
Okay.
I think I can agree with that.
I don't know about this
Yeah.
Manelker fellow. He's probably top 5. I wouldn't say conclusively, but yeah, those are in my top 5.
The other candidates, I would say, that are just on the fringe for, like, you could put them in top 5, you could not put them in top 5, and I wouldn't, like, super split hairs, are Setsuki, Grave, and Lum.
Yeah, that's actually
who I have.
that,
That's who I have in my better than average section. Is those 7 characters?
Yeah, like I said, I think people
8.
generally have
7.
an agreement on that.
I would personally put
Geiger as
myself.
A++.
I don't think Geiger is the best, but I would put Geiger in top 5.
I think Quince is pretty fierce as well, but I don't know. I think that Raziek's general gist of things is pretty representative of.
I don't think I can agree with Geiger in that top group. Just outside it, absolutely. Like, he would be my next one right after Lum. But I just can't put him in that top group.
My next one after Lum would be Quince.
Yeah, Quince, those case spins, they're thready. I don't know. I feel like
I think Mad
Geiger's-
King. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead and continue.
I think that Mad King has pretty well proven through quite a few trials that Quince is a very strong character if you have the reads to back him up. And
Absolutely.
Magic
Yeah,
certainly does. And he wins a lot and leaves you feeling absolutely confused.
I think you mean almost wins. Sorry, Mad King.
Oh.
Just despite how close he's
Shots
come,
fired.
he has not won a tournament yet, which is something he is still sad about. But he's gonna get something one of these days. He's an exceptional player.
Shout out to Mad King.
Yeah. He almost had Summer Smash, but
So close.
then it was the reign of Raziek.
Dream crushed.
Yeah.
That
So-
is nice alliteration.
I feel like Geiger is sort of very bad at low hand. Like, his normal draw is not that stellar,
Well,
so it's kind of difficult to play him if you happen to be on low hand for whatever reason. I guess without research and development is really how he maintains.
aside from that,
Correct.
I think my biggest problem with putting Geiger in that top echelon of characters is, he basically, in one word, it's Manelker.
Yeah.
Like,
What?
Yeah.
So yeah, he has a 5-5 matchup versus one of the best characters.
ha ha
Those
ha
ones, you know.
ha ha ha
The
ha.
5-5. So cold.
If that's 5-5, Zane Trock is 6-4 in Zane's favor.
You know, I can almost agree with that when I play it from the Zane side.
But yeah, that's honestly the biggest problem with Geiger. Is you can just pick Manelker and ruin his life.
Hi, Southpaw.
I have been playing with
Southpaw
Riker.
wins that match of its own.
I've been playing with Riker.
Not the
It's
first time we
beginning.
played it.
It's
Okay.
below 50%. I say that I have a huge amount of experience in that matchup losing it.
I don't know.
I'm going to put in a note that I used to hate Minilka as a character, like in the same way that I hated Persephone, that he hand disrupts me and he banishes my cards, and why is he such an unfair feeling character? Then I realized I had to fight Southpaw here, and I was incredibly scared because I'd heard of the exploits of the great Time Kick Master, and yeah, I didn't actually really know like how good Southpaw was, but I assumed he was like pretty good. So I took some time, like a few days before I was to fight him, to actually learn to play Minilka specifically to fight Southpaw, and that's why I'm a Minilka player now.
Well, I mean, sometimes that happens. But
I actually played Minelka for a similar reason. I was like, how am I supposed to beat Persephone consistently? I hate her, and I want to disincentivize people playing her versus me. So I need some way to show them that she's not a good pick, so I don't ever have to endure playing her.
what
So
I
that's
was
why I
going
picked
to say, though, was I've been playing with Riker since I started playing this game, basically. And Geiger is far and away his favorite character. And the Geiger-Manelker matchup is the reason he quit playing this game for close to 6 or 8 months, I want to say.
Boy.
And the Riker that we have now is not the Riker that once was. The hope is dead. The Riker that we have now is Shadow Riker. And this is the Riker that will ride the counterpick carousel and play literally every character in the cast as long as it's an awful matchup for you. And the reason he did that specifically is because if he can't have fun, he doesn't want anyone else to have fun.
His soul was literally crushed by Minelka.
Yes, literally.
Now he's the empty husk of play to win that he once feared and despised.
Now he plays Manelker and Persephone and Trock and insert counterpick to your favorite character here. And he's seeing success with it. Like that's the thing, and that's why I don't think Geiger is quite in that top tier. Is because he gets pooped on by an extremely popular, extremely strong character.
Extremely equal, yeah.
That's fair. So what about those bottom characters?
Vendetta comes to mind.
This one's controversial, but Persephone.
No.
I don't know, man. I don't know. A lot of people have tried her.
Persephone is a mediocre character. She's not bottom 5. Not a chance.
So she's like 14.
I think she's bottom 5 because she gets beaten by Gwen and Minelka and Trock.
Well, what it comes down to,
probably Zane as well.
Yeah, Zane wins, I would say.
We could be honest about our placements of Persephone, but I think we stand more to gain by just disincentivizing people playing her at all. So let's pretend she's terrible.
Persephone is an awful character. Nobody should play Persephone.
I used to be extremely confident on like saying bottom 3 was like BBB, Gloria, and then like insert
then
your pick.
LK404 appeared.
Yeah, I was gonna say insert your pick between Midori and Vendetta, basically.
No Jaina?
No, I don't.
No, Jaina's the bottom 5. I don't think.
It's hard. Jaina's so like almost good. Then literally nobody does anything with her. Like, I don't say that to like shit on Jushichi, because like Jushichi is the Jaina player right now. Jushichi is the Jaina player, but like he talks to me about the struggle it is all the time, because like he tried to play mono Jaina through the league. And that is the reason he didn't make playoffs, is because he tried to play mono Jaina, and there are just too many landmine characters for Jaina.
So let me say this. So there's been a bit of controversy about how much to value like statistical things, like the statistics thread that we have, which is literally just recording, trying to come up with a tier list, basically just based on results. Because a lot of people are like, it's not too useful, or it's kind of useful, or opinions vary all around on that.
Yeah.
I will say that this can still be confirmation bias, but I personally confirmed my own bias that at one point the list ended up, the top and the bottom ended up matching my own opinion exactly. So that was kind of amusing. And I'll just say what those are right now. On top is Zane Trock Geiger. And on the bottom is BBB, Jaina, and Valerie.
Yeah,
Valerie.
I don't think Valerie's a good character. Coming from a former Valerie player,
I don't think she's. I don't think.
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I don't think she's bottom 5, but I don't think there's much reason to play her. Like, you know what I use her for? I counterpick Vendetta players. That's it. Like,
Didn't like a Valerie like recently win the tournament. It's like today, playing mostly Valerie. Empirical evidence for the win. Overrides expert opinions. Taken out.
but, when you look at the results in a vacuum like that and just look at sheer win rates, yeah, that makes Geiger look pretty good. But
Thanks, SPH.
I definitely agree that you need to take the statistical results with a grain of salt.
yeah.
I just think that they're not completely worthless.
Oh
They're
no,
not
absolutely
completely-
not. Like,
yeah.
I would say they generally correlate with what people think about general strengths, and are useful for that purpose. It's just, like, yeah, you can look at Geiger's win rate and go, hey, Geiger's doing pretty good, he's doing great, and then we, let me see.
Then Pinocchio happens.
I was gonna say, like, who do they? Oh, they've currently just got it on mid-timer tournaments. Let's put this on everything.
Using that lovely search function that Mystic Juicer came up with.
Yeah. So if we
thank you,
put
Juicer.
this on all of the events, and then peek down to the little Geiger versus Manelker column, for example,
For example, just an
Geiger
example.
actually
Random
happens to
pick.
be winning, making me look silly.
Wow, really?
Hey.
Oh wow! Guess who doesn't look silly? Yeah, right here.
Currently
Well,
winning
then.
20 games to 18.
Hi.
Wow.
That's strange and counter to what I am known to believe. But, well, there it is, so whatever.
Yeah, so in this case, that's don't believe the statistics, they're terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, sure.
I'm sure they'll also tell you that Zane beats Setsky. Cough, cough.
32-24.
I don't know. Another upset from the statistics. I think Midori's good. Like the general opinion, he's bad. I don't buy into that.
Okay,
He's just had so much success between
The
Clan and
statistics.
Leontes.
Yeah, the statistics show him really on top, at least for like a few months there.
here's
But
a...
when Clan and Leontes, the good players themselves, say, "Yeah, I don't think Midori's a very good character."
Well, that's because they like to.
Who can you
they say that, but the
as they are
results
winning.
say differently.
Okay, here's how
Who
I
can
feel
you
about
believe?
Midori. Midori is a good character when he draws the cards he needs. When he does not, he is an awful character.
Totally draw dependent.
Like,
Kind of like Valerie.
when I played my set with Leontes during IYL 2, which concluded 3-2 and was an utter bloodbath, he had games where he just drew all 4 queens, and it's like, what do you do? But then I rematched him in the Something Worthwhile tournament that Southpaw and I played in finals in. Or no, Glimpse of the Master, sorry. Not Something Worthwhile.
Yes, the one named after Midori.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Um,
Midori like hardly got played in the whole tournament.
Well, that's because I knocked him out first round because he didn't draw his
Yeah.
twos.
I had money on that. Yeah.
And, like, that's the point I wanted to get to, is, like, Midori really needs specific draws, and if he doesn't get them, he doesn't have any means of accelerating his access to them other than blocking.
That's true.
Yeah, he's basically
He's got
just like
no tutoring.
a
So you would say that there's something to there's a lot of difference between characters in terms of how consistent they are. Like
Yes,
some characters.
I think Midori
You know-
is the least consistent character in the entire game.
I think Midori, Vendetta, and Gloria are all in contest. And maybe
That's-
Persephone for least consistent.
That
Like
sounds
Vendetta, he's
And then for most consistent, probably Zane again, because he can sort of do almost anything.
Pretty much.
I don't know.
Raise
I think Arg is pretty consistent. He seems like a consistent character to me.
The about Vendetta specifically, because he was brought up. I think Vendetta is a bit of a mixed bag.
Yeah.
Because I think his problem stems from the fact that he needs so many different options in order to have a decent hand. Because it's not that he can't get to them, because he can just two-poke away all day and just, draw through his deck by poking.
Yeah.
It's that he needs a very specific composition. Whereas Midori's problem is literally, if he does not get certain cards, he just doesn't function. And he has no way to get to them, because unlike Vendetta, Midori cannot be throwing normal attacks at people's blocks to threaten them.
You know what I feel like you described there also is BBB,
Yes.
which is somebody that I think we all just agreed was bottom, and I think that's
He's
the general
bottom, but
consensus.
he's a situational counterpick. Yeah.
Yeah.
He's a great counterpick for like.
I'm definitely interested in hearing what people have to say about BBB.
things.
Well, BBB's... I think BBB's biggest problem is that
He's the biggest problem.
his mix-up is... his mix-up is centered around a single card, and that's
Okay.
King.
King throw.
Yeah.
Yeah, if BBB does not have kings, BBB does not get to play. That's basically what it is.
And even if he does have King, it loses sometimes.
Yep. Like,
Sad.
you can have games where you just don't land king ever, and you're just like, oh, sad bot is sad. Like,
To make it even more absurd, King is not only like it's only his only. Not only is it the most important thing ever for his mix-up, he also needs it to get to range versus like dodges and attacks and non-block and attack, and like a lot of things.
Yeah.
He needs it to get to range.
I seem to remember a certain Geiger player rolling a robot off the assembly line at some point.
That did happen. That was serious, by the way. I do play BBB sometimes, but I also agree that it hasn't been very successful.
Well, the characters that BBB counterpicks, I feel like Geiger probably counterpicks them the same or better.
Well, I mean, can't be better than the creator.
Yeah.
The really funny thing is what BBB does excel in, which isn't saying much, but he's really good at the single-player solitaire game. I found out.
Yeah.
I played this once, and I was trying to do like a boss rush mode against EX Deathstrike Dragon with a normal non-EX character, and I couldn't get anywhere until I picked BBB, and he nearly got a perfect. I took like three chip damage over the whole thing because the really simple AI in the solitaire version is just going to mash a lot of things that don't work at range.
And BB wins.
Yeah, so range is really good against people who don't know how to deal with it. It's just that it's not hard to learn how to deal with it.
Yeah.
That's
Gold
another
burst.
case where gold bursting is a cool idea.
Yeah, it is. That's a great segue back to gold burst.
Solitaire mode doesn't have jokers. You can't gold burst.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
That's true.
Next
I
survival
forgot
run.
about that.
Toad's gonna play BBB.
Yeah, BBB, that's his general problem, is other characters do what he does better. He's extremely reliant on a single card, which you can work around even if he does get it. And he just generally doesn't he's not consistent in a game plan. Like, you might get somebody to range to keep them there for a little bit, but then they get you back to range and then you explode. Or, back from range, rather. It's like, oh, okay, I kept you at range for a couple turns, maybe chipped a junk shot or two, but now you've got 13 cards and we're not at range anymore, and please don't hurt me.
Then the robot dies.
Yeah. Which is essentially his problem in a nutshell. Like, there has been some mild success seen with him. Like, I think Naguten won a tournament with him that one time.
Felix doing good too.
Well, Thilo also plays Moobot, basically. Like, he doesn't go to BBB. BBB is not his go-to. Troc is his go-to, and BBB sometimes makes an appearance.
He played
Special
BBB
guest
versus us in the tag team league, and well, we BB beat it. Isn't that right, Redless?
Redless clearly paying attention.
Seriously, AFK.
But
So would you guys say that BBB Mirror is the least played matchup in the game?
probably.
If it isn't, it should be.
Has it ever been
Matchup.
played? Ever?
Gloria Mirror might be less played.
It's
Oh,
funny
yeah.
because BBB Mirror has like these really awkward specifics to it because range is symmetrical, and it's really weird,
Yeah.
but it never even happens anyway.
Yeah,
It's a bizarre, terrible matchup.
It is.
It's also a theoretical matchup.
The one nice thing I can say about BBB is when you land a robo headbutt, you just feel like a god.
Call out like a mistress command. Just
Oh god, yeah, that's the best. Or just when
Yeah,
you
but
know somebody's going to throw and you're just like, "Argh!"
See, even then, it doesn't seem like it's that great though, right? Because it's like, oh, you can get maybe 40 damage or maybe a little more if you did it on overdrive turn or whatever. But
it's
it's
only
like,
like half their life. I mean,
yeah, like so what? Like other characters can do 40 damage all the time.
off
Yeah.
of like fun starters.
All right, so would you give BBB 3 combo points to solve this problem?
If I were to solve BB, and I said this before, I don't know how this would go. What I would do is I would make dodges not work at range for BB. Other characters still can dodge. And I would make dodging into normals set range. That's how I'd fix BB. He'd probably have terrible balance, but I think he'd be... I don't know. I can't think of any problems with him.
How would he stay at range, though? You just mash reversals.
Yeah, like
He can block at range.
Yeah, but then they
then
would
you just go block,
in fact,
block, and
mashing
you're out.
block at range.
Yeah,
like-
but now it's like a fun mix-up, because he's getting range way more often. Because it's much harder to block him out.
yeah, but when he's at range, if he doesn't have a queen or king, you just block and
Is he
what
really
does he
getting
do?
range that much more often with only 8 dodges in his deck?
I mean, I suppose so. I
I
don't know.
don't think so.
This is
Okay.
probably going to be
That's
really
just my
out.
2 cents.
This
Yes,
is
I'll
probably
help.
going to be really out there and wild, but I would give him his Destiny block, which I don't think is actually overpowered.
Nope,
I
nope,
would just
nope,
put it-
nope, 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 nope. 100 nopes. That thing is ridiculous.
Not
It
if
is-
he gets countered.
It's
the
honestly
XR.
ridiculous. It can't be mixed up either. It's pretty darn good.
Yeah,
Well,
you-
maybe take that off. Maybe because you would put it on like one of his face
it's
cards.
Jack.
You would combine it with like the other side of a face card or something.
Jack.
it,
I guess
Because who uses Cogshot anyway? Let's be fair.
Cogshot is a
It's
great
good in
card.
the
Don't
Rook
you
matchup.
shit talk Cogshot.
What do you
Uh,
need Cogshot for? What do you use it for? I don't know what you use
in
Cogshot
the
for.
Rook matchup, you can knock him down so he can't rock armor stuff. With Cogshot.
It's also
That's-
really
As
good
a
against
starter,
Zane.
like,
But-
it's good against Zane. Why is it good against Zane?
Because
Gets
it beats
knocked out.
everything that isn't 2 or aces or Crash Bomb, and it trades favorably with Crash Bomb, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I was going to say, this would basically be a baby step towards fixing him, and I think would help fix the problem, but probably would need a little bit more. I'm not sure what. But I would allow Overdrive to search a face card from deck or discard.
I could see that. So
pretty,
sort of
uh,
make it like temporal distortion almost.
Yeah, which would allow you to actually have more consistent access to your kings, even if you hadn't drawn one yet at all. Because you could fetch from the deck. That still wouldn't
Yeah.
necessarily solve the problem of, you can still play around king, but it would make it a little more consistent for him at the very least.
I feel like that'd make it really strong at range though, because you could just like overdrive, like you get to range and then you just overdrive and then you just got your entire mix up and you don't even have to try.
Well, typically he's expected to have it either when he gets to range or by throwing normals at blocks at range, so... I don't think it makes it terribly, terribly crazy, but... I want to put a question out there while we're talking about BBB.
Yep.
Does anyone think that BBB is not the worst character in the game? And if so, who is it?
Well, as I said before, I think BBB is useful as a meta pick versus like Quince, possibly Persephone, Troc, Rook, Midori. Like, there's a couple characters that he really just decimates, in my opinion. And I think that characters similar to BBB that don't really have that trait is like Vendetta. We were talking about Vendetta earlier. Like, Vendetta potentially has favorable matchups, but really how favorable are they? Like, he's not like someone you bring in as a counter pick.
Spoilers.
So the reason
disagree.
to use him.
Spoilers.
No,
I think he beats Zane.
Yeah, I agree. Because
Like,
when
slightly,
I was
but I
fighting,
think he beats him.
Wait, so how is he better than Troc? Can you guys reiterate?
Oh, he's
Okay,
not
okay.
better than
So
Troc. I'm just saying.
when I was
he has
fighting
uses.
Tips and Tricks was playing Minolka, and I was playing Zane. And I beat his Minolka 2 games in a row with Zane. He didn't land any DSDs on me. He switches to Vendetta, and he didn't completely ruin my Zane, but he ran the set back, best of 7, and defeated me with a Vendetta.
Like, Vendetta can give Zane trouble. Not more
Can
trouble than
definitely give Zane
Troc,
trouble.
again, like I said.
Yeah.
But to say Vendetta doesn't necessarily have those niche counterpicks, I think is a little bit off base, because I think he does. That said, against the other characters in the top tier, not so much. Setsuki kind of dunks on him.
Yeah. Grave kind of dunks on him.
Yeah.
Lum kind of.
Manelker is not fantastic for him.
Yeah.
It's evenish. I think.
Lum is ridiculously rude to him.
Yep.
Troc
like
is
the recurring Jack. Zzz.
Yeah.
Troc vs Vendetta is a really interesting matchup, and one that I have not spent enough time in, but I really like playing in it, because it's like Vendetta ends up not poking with 2s and 3s, and he starts poking with 5s and 6s, and so Troc sometimes wants to throw out a 4, but generally not, so you sort of have to really carefully time your throws, because your king throw doesn't do as much work in the matchup, but it does beat his 7 attack as well, which Vendetta's often poke with.
Yeah.
And it's like, you end up in this really strange game where Vendetta's trying to poke into damage to prevent Troc from throwing him, but Troc's kind of like giant growthing and just building up his threat. And somewhere along the line, one of them actually breaks, and their built-up hands turn into damage, and it becomes very volatile when that point occurs.
Yeah. I think that's, I actually talked with Mad King about this a good amount. It might have been Jushichi, but the one thing that people often seem to forget with Vendetta is when Vendetta hits you, he has gorilla damage. Like,
Yeah.
Vendetta can blow you up in a hurry. Like, Jack Ender is ridiculous. That's 20 damage on
Yep.
2 combo points.
and like 6 cards.
Yeah, like,
Excuse me, guys. I am almost out of time. I'm pretty much out of time.
Okay, let's like wrap this up in the next 5 minutes.
alright.
If
So,
that was just
we already covered the top part for the most part. We touched on most of the bottom characters. So how about we close by just addressing who do you think has potential to continue to rise?
or fall.
Yeah,
Gloria.
Gloria for sure.
I
Gloria.
think so. Yeah.
I think LK is going to show us some good things.
Yeah,
I agree.
definitely.
Guybrush
counting on
too.
the
Don't forget
okay.
him.
Who? Guybrush. Yeah, you're right, Guybrush. And Sharp Object.
There are a
Shout out to
couple.
the Gloria players of the world.
There are a couple Gloria players.
Let's not forget
Yeah.
Archon. He was
Yeah, you're
Grandmaster in the last season.
That's correct.
Let's not forget the mighty Redless who wrote the guide to Gloria and
You
the
don't
mighty
play her
Aphotics.
anymore. Fraud.
Me and Aphotics,
Play every
Gloria
character
bros.
endless. You can't call yourself a character specialist.
Aphotics
It's me
is
and
no friend to
Aphotics.
Gloria. He buried Gloria.
Aphotics, yeah. Aphotics the Gloria Lord, shoutouts.
Me and Aphotics braving the worlds, the Glorias.
Who else do you
Playing
think
Gloria.
has the ability to go up? Because we all agree on Gloria, I think.
Yeah.
Valerie springs to mind as sort of potentially uppy character.
I gotta
Yeah,
put
I
on
think
my
she could
sour
go up.
face here.
I think Rook has the potential to go down because everybody's playing Rook right at the moment.
The statistic chart actually puts Rook really low down there. Also, he was in the bottom 5 for like a month.
He's just so popular. How can you maintain a win rate when like 2,000 people are playing you?
Yeah.
Hashtag Zane.
I don't know.
Shut up, Rushkick.
Yeah, at one point
Sorry.
Zane had the highest win rate and the highest play rate.
I'm just saying he's kind of popular and also kind of really good.
Just
So
Just
the
saying.
other characters I think might go up. Vendetta, like for reasons that have been said, just does a lot of damage. I don't know if he's maybe when you're playing Vendetta, you're playing like 3 to 6 characters, like Vendetta without dodges, Vendetta without acro, Vendetta without kings. You have to learn each of those characters, and maybe if you master them all, then Vendetta's good. And Nomas sort of is mighty. And then Gwen, I think, is strong. WoW just does so much damage. 28 damage throws, just 50 damage, 40 damage attacks, just damage all over. Then Onimaru.
I think Gwen's main problem is that not only her character, but her entire game plan is fragile. Like,
Yeah.
if you lose 2 or 3 combats, the game is usually over.
Yeah.
So she has a lot less room for error than most characters do. Which
She's
means,
not an 85 life character. She is a 70 life character.
yeah, she has
Or
she
if
has
you get
these
your,
turns, or these games rather, where she looks like this unassailable god because she got 3 reads in a row and you died. And then you have the games where she just runs into a couple dragon punches and suddenly she's at 20 life while you're at 84 and you're just like, what happened, girl?
or when her Ace of Hearts gets banished into oblivion.
I think you're thinking of a different character.
We're talking about Gwen, Southpaw.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were talking about Gloria.
Gloria
Sister,
never
sister,
looks like an
man.
unassailable
Sister.
god.
Oh, you have
Aw,
you faced LK, right?
Yes, I did. He
Wow.
almost beat me. Like,
yeah.
Like, and you're like the best player, and you're playing like a super advantaged matchup, and he's like,
no, but my
Almost
point
beat
with
you
that
up.
was Gloria never looks like an unassailable god because
No,
even when
yeah, you're
she's
right, she
beating the
doesn't.
tar out of you,
Yeah,
it's
even when
close.
she's winning, she looks fragile.
Yeah.
Even if she has like the game under control, she looks like she could just snap at any moment.
Yeah, because
Yeah, that's fair, because she's
Gloria-
hurting herself no matter what.
Gloria with the game under control against Zane is probably around like 50 life. That's 2 combats. Like,
Yeah.
that's
or
throw
just a
9J
maximum anarchy.
cross
That's
up.
One anarchy, you lose. Goodbye. Like, ugh.
That's the problem with Gloria, is because of her effective life and how she like starts at 70 and hovers maybe in the 40 to 50 area for a while. Like,
Or
she can just
30s.
lose because like to bursty characters. That's just how it goes.
Yeah.
Because she has to win this long grinding battle of attrition. So she doesn't have that unassailable god thing that I'm talking about when I talk about Gwen.
It's also because she extends the game while also quickening the game, so she feels like really weird to play like against. Because
Yeah.
you feel like the game's going really fast. Because oh my gosh, I'm taking like 20 damage every combat, and so she's taking 10. But then also at the same time, you've got more health than her in like every matchup. So it's like, but how long is she actually going to take to kill me while she heals herself?
yeah, it's you just need a few combats if you catch her at the right moment. It's a very timing based matchup.
Yeah.
When I say matchup, I mean all of Gloria's matchups. Onimaru was the other one I was gonna say. People just don't play him for some reason. I don't know why that is. People say he's good. Maybe he is.
Can't you
I
cool
wouldn't know.
combos with him?
Yeah, I mean, he does like 20 damage from single hits though.
Yeah.
Also, I think the one thing about Onimaru which makes him like less cool than other characters is that his maximum combo damage is only really achieved through his aces, but it's not the hype side of his. Like he has an ace, he's got a 20 damage ace, amazing,
Yeah.
and then he's got a 1 damage ace.
You really only
Amazing.
ever feel like a god with Onimaru either when you're activating Final Authority,
Yeah,
or when you've just hit somebody with 4 kings.
Or
Yes.
10. You need
Did you
guard
just
crush
try that
successfully.
tonight and it got jokered?
I was so depressed.
Oh, man. I mained Onimaru for like 3 months. I hit 1 4-king combo and it was Joker. I know your pain, mate. I know your pain.
I tried to
And it-
play Onimaru during dev cycle, and I just couldn't do it because his throw game is not threatening enough. Like, that's the
Yep.
reason I couldn't
Yeah.
play him.
You can't you have extremely efficient damage, but if people are dodging and blocking enough, you're just never going to see it become damage. You're going to see it as cards or lost combats.
Which is why he just doesn't quite have that place in the meta, because people like Argarg and Lum exist.
Yeah.
And they're just like, oh.
And Grey.
So it's like, oh, block dodge is really strong against you? I guess I'll just sit here then.
And Geiger, like,
and if
Geiger versus Onimaru is not even that bad for Geiger because he can just block a lot.
Just block.
What's the issue?
But maybe, and we don't know this, the wise Hugakitten and I were actually talking. Hugakitten has this tech where she, like, throws and doesn't pump early game, and it takes away, like, their 10 block that they were relying on, and now she guard crushes with, like, 5s and stuff, and 8s that she wasn't able to before.
Yeah.
I think potentially, like, that could even open up, I guess, the Onimaru player
I think
to more tech, but I don't know.
I think
It's just so
Onimaru's main edge in the meta is the reason I think he can sit just in that little group right outside of the top tier is because he can handle most of the top tier.
That's true.
Like,
He can,
like-
he really can.
Manelka, Onimaru just goes, yeah, final authority, now you're dead.
yeah.
Just take damage every turn, just all day.
Same thing with Setsuki. He can deal 1 billion damage off of any random combat. Like,
And
Setsuki does
the
not
point
want
two
to be
throws.
attacking into dodges that cost her 20 life.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he has throw speed to compete with her, even if his throws are not that threatening.
Yeah. Just the point too, like also avoiding bone crackers and things. Just,
Yeah.
so manly.
He does struggle with degrade. Like, that's his big limiting factor among the top tier.
It's a harsh
but-
matchup for him.
Something I'm going to say on this podcast that I feel like I maybe should keep under my hat, but I'm going to say it anyway. I think Onimaru is secret second best counterpick to Zane.
Really? After Troc?
Yeah.
And Vendetta's third best.
And the reason for that is
What about Grave?
no, Grave is like slight advantage Grave, not even close to a hard counterpick.
Okay.
The reason I think that is because Onimaru has too many answers to everything Zane wants to do.
Probably
Except
General
5-3.
Farmer is a big.
It's a spam dodge. Oh,
You will never land a meaty on Onimaru. It just won't happen.
Oh yeah, because you got 5 and Queen and Ace and Final Authority.
I have like
Um,
4 ranks that just clean crush the sadness.
Well, Aces don't clean crush it.
On top of that, he can compete in neutral pretty well because he actually has a 7 throw that beats things that aren't your 5. At any
Because the great
point,
throw punishes.
if Zane reaches for the throw, you might have just taken 20.
Yeah, that's true. Huh?
And
also, the lack of even blocks means that if you ever actually land a knockdown on him, you get to play a 5 and you almost win.
yeah, like Zane's
free.
only answer to General's armor on knockdown is Wake Up Face card, which gets blown up by literally anything else Onimaru does.
Alternately, Gold Burst is a very effective wake up.
Yeah, okay, that's true. Anarchy does exist in that matchup.
Only out of a dodge.
Anarchy's like the way of that. Like, that's how you don't lose the matchup, right? You just dodge into Anarchy a bunch, so we can't attack you, and then you can take advantage.
You have to dodge into Anarchy twice to win.
The thing is, though, the reason I don't think Anarchy is as accessible a solution is because
Blocking is hard.
in addition to problems on knockdown, Zane is also really soft to guard crush.
8 block is his highest.
Yeah, Zane does not have a 10 block. He only has 4 ranks of blocks, so he might not even have a block. Which means he can't always build his hand to have threatening options. Onimaru has 90 life, so even if you are playing the dodge game, you still have to chip him down over a very long period of time. And you have to really pick your moments to try to punch one of his throws, or throw him when he's taking a second to block.
Yeah.
But just nobody plays Onimaru. Like,
Yeah.
the last time I ran into
I'm
an
not gonna-
Onimaru was when I ran into Card Gamer in Quick Match, and I lost. Like, just because I don't have much experience in that matchup, because nobody plays that character. Turns out he wins.
Right, so everybody listening to this podcast, all go home, do your homework, play Onimaru, and we're all going to beat Raziak one at a time. Just set him up in a big row. We're all going to play.
But I have secret Lum tech.
Damn it.
Lum. I don't know. I played Onimaru for quite a while. I think there are a lot of misconceptions people have. For example, some people think that attacking is good versus Onimaru. I don't know wherever they got that idea, like that it beats Guard Crush and things. That's completely absurd. He can dodge into like 20 damage, which most people can't. So you just dodge a bunch, and then your attacks beat their attacks just 100%
I feel like
of the
dodging
time.
is very strong versus Onimaru.
And if people aren't dodging and blocking themselves enough, you just never have to Guard Crush. You can just dodge and you can attack, and you just win. And it's just it crushes people.
Basically,
well, I don't think any of us actually. None of us actually said during our discussions of the tier list that Onimaru was high or low. I think we all placed him somewhere in the middle.
I keep
so
him
he's definitely
outside of
high.
that. Like he's my next one in that group of Lum, Onimaru, Quince, are Geiger. Like that group.
So
Sort of like the second highest percentile.
Yes,
like,
they're the
quintile.
characters that are almost there but have a matchup that limits them.
or like 3 matchups in the case of Arg.
Yeah. Though I suppose I have Quince in that group, but he doesn't really have a matchup that limits him that badly. I guess Geiger is the closest, but it's manageable. But yeah, I don't know. Basically, his weak throw game is what holds him back, because characters that can go super hard on the blocks can just really make his life hell. Or the dodges in DeGray's case, because, ace dodge.
Mm-hmm. You have to build up to like 12 cards, then you can start throwing maybe. I don't know.
Because you have to pump them, like...
You have to pump
That's his
them,
problem,
you're not gonna-
Onimaru has to pump, and against those characters who just want to block, he doesn't get the cards to pump, because they're not hitting his blocks.
Yes, you go block, and if you're going block for 7 turns versus like Lum, it's not a favorable outcome.
One's definitely going to win that.
Let's see. Anything else I feel is
So
worth
I have one last new player tip
Nope,
that I had on my list, but I forgot to say it. Don't focus too much on payoff of winning combat when you're choosing your options, and don't focus too much on likelihood of winning combat. You can't focus on one of them almost exclusively.
Yeah, you have to balance them.
I think it's a pretty common mistake to either go for only payoff, just hard reads and stuff, or only whatever the other thing is, trying to win combat, just with the also hard reads, I guess.
The exception is
You have
if
to
you're
balance
making
them.
the hell of a run back, in which case you need to focus on just winning combat regardless of payoff.
Yeah, get big payoffs if you can too. Obviously.
Sometimes you might reverse perfect a grave with Zane. That might have been a thing that happened. Who knows?
I don't know.
I might have done that to Malorian Thug. Had 2
So
life.
this one time is grave. I was fighting a Troc.
This one time as Troc, I was fighting a Quince. He just threw me first turn. It was a tearsome time.
This one time as Troc, I was fighting CKR's Quins.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to our podcast. We'll have an episode 2 coming out in
At some time?
probably like 6 months. I don't know.
Yep.
Somewhere in that range. Hopefully soon.
It didn't take us that long to get the first one out. I'm sure we can get the second one out before 6
Yeah, but
months.
the second episode always takes longer because the first one you're going for, and then you get it out, and then everybody's like, "So where's episode 2?" And you're like, "We'll do it later."
That's what Sirlin goes through every month. But people pay Sirlin. What?
Why don't we get
Expect us,
paid for
like-
this?
You're gonna expect episode 2 like the next day.
Oh no! Please don't expect episode 2.
What we do is
today.
we just don't release this one until the day after we've completed episode 2.
Well,
See how they like that.
somebody not named me still has to get to do all the fun stuff with the editing
what?
of this, so...
I'll do that.
So South Boy, you know about editing.
Yeah, we saw you edit those weird Leaf videos, which, by the way, I think like 3 of the
Oh, very
people on
nice,
the
and we enjoyed
podcast have
them a lot.
YouTube channels, so subscribe to them if you're a bit.
Oh yeah, we should probably plug those, shouldn't we? Yeah,
South Boy is a cool guy. Subscribe to him.
yeah.
Hey,
I don't have a
thanks.
YouTube channel, but if you did, if I
Raziak
did-
makes really cool videos of him playing games and winning.
And also,
Yeah,
I
Garcia
also
Garcia.
record other people's games and talk about them sometimes.
And he talks about me losing a lot because yeah.
I don't recall that.
hey everybody, there's this really awesome video where me and some friends checkmate Buster Bomb.
Oh no!
Forever salty. Forever salty.
That's going to be our weakness as a team. If there's anything that's holding us back, it's just those checkmate busters.
Being checkmate busters.
I think the weakness to the team.
That Gister too.
I think the weakness to the team is the fact that CPAT dropped off the face of the earth.
Yeah, well, bye CPAT. I hope you're okay.
But what I was gonna say is, I
Please
think
come
the
back to us.
highlight of my YouTube channel is when, aside from me, I mean that's the obvious one, is when we can get the full DRB roundtable commentary of like me, Riker, Jushichi, and Mad King all commentating one match, because then you just get like the highest quality Yomi talk I think you can find.
And
And insult Southpaw here.
Yeah, yes, Dietz as well. I can't believe I forgot him. My apologies, Dietz. Slipped my mind. The reason that didn't come immediately to mind is because Dietz mainly knows about Lum, because like he's still fairly fresh to the game. So.
And yeah, and you'll sit around and insult Southpaw here.
It was the one time, and I apologize.
National
And it was
pastime.
good for the community.
That may or may not have happened, but it's behind us.
Yeah.
It was still probably the best single thing I've ever seen in a community ever. The resolution of that.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Oh yeah.
It was
I
just
felt
stellar.
so awful after that. Like, I was in the shower and I was just like, God damn it! I feel like the worst person ever. I gotta fucking apologize.
Yeah, but it was okay afterwards, and it is true. It was really funny the way everyone around us was like, "Wow, people on the internet settled an argument in a very polite and concise fashion."
Yeah.
Wow, what happened?
It's like we had it resolved in like 3 posts or something. And it was
Yeah.
just like, no, this is supposed to be a 10-page flame war. This is bullshit.
It had the potential to like completely blow up and just like derail the thread and ruin everything, and then it just like didn't. And I was like, whoa.
It's almost like we're good people or something. I don't know.
Yeah, like what? Do they exist on the internet? Are you sure?
Around
Hey guys,
here.
internet high fives all around.
Yeah.
Internet high fives, yeah.
Bam, bam, bam.
Well, I really got to go, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yes, thank
Sorry.
you for joining us, Southpaw. It's a pleasure, of course.
Yep. See you,
Pleasures.
Southpaw.
Definitely
So I
really
think we're
fun,
now
guys.
this sort of bit, like this last little bit, maybe we'll just cut off. I don't
Yep.
know. We're
Well,
chopping it, as it were.
Goodbye.
this has been Troublesome Rhetoric.
This has been Troublesome Rhetoric. See you next time, viewers.
Or
Viewers,
troublesome rhetoric if
listeners.
you're weird in Australian.
Troublesome Rhetoric.
Yep.
TR.